It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Wow, I'm feeling good, man. Let me say this now. Here and now, let's get this straight. Boogaloo, baby, I made it great. Because I gave it the Latin beat. You know, child, I'm kind of hard to beat. Just commence your feet to skate. Pick up your arms and make them shake. Baby, if you think you're shy, do me a favor, honey, go someplace and hide. Yeah, baby.
I like it like that.
You better believe me when I tell you.
I said I like it like that.
Now, Boogaloo, I made it great.
I like it like that.
I like it like
I
that.
said I like it like that.
And I want it like that.
I like it like that.
I've got the soul. I've got the
I said
feeling.
I like it like that.
I've got the soul, baby. Look at me.
I like it like that.
Yeah, baby.
I said I like it like that.
I like it like that.
I like it like that.
Your feet if you think I'm neat. Clap your hands if you want some more. Stomp your feet if you think I'm neat. Clap your hands if you want some more. Yo! Yes,
I like it like that. I said I like it like that. I like it like that. I said I like it like that. I like it like that. I said I like it like that. I like it like that. I like it like that. I said I like it like that.
Stomp your feet if you think I'm neat. Clap your hands if you want some more. Stomp your feet if you think I'm neat. Clap your hands if you want some more. Say it once, and I'll say it again. Boogaloo, my man, give me my wine. I feel great. You're looking good now. Let me feel so. Listen to me. Don't be shy. Join the party. Say like I say, like this, see? You ready now? Yeah! Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it like that.
I like it. I like it. I like it like that. I like it. I like it. I like it like that. I like it. I like it. I like it like that. I like it. I like it. I like it like that.
If you don't mind, I'll say it again. Give me my wine, and
I like it like that. Okay. I don't really like it, man. I just spent a good 41 minutes trying to fix this. Some settings on my studio here got changed, man. It has nothing to do with the other problem we're having with the Skype going down. It's a whole different situation. Welcome to the Opperman Report. I am your host, private investigator, the frustrated, angry private investigator, Ed Opperman. Okay, what do you call? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You need to get a hold of me for PI work. You go to oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. Okay. If you need to get a hold of me about the radio show, it's Opperman Report, just like the name of the show, at gmail.com. Or you can go to oppermanreport.com and go there. And what do you call it? You can send, there's a contact thing on there. There's a donate button on there if you want to contact me about show business. Because there's no business like show business. You contact me over there. Otherwise, leave me alone. Okay, let's cut back. Really, I had a nice peaceful week, man, with no Facebook and no Instagram. Let's cut back on those messages if you could. Okay, hey, I know you're busy, but let me read this 20 pages I'm about to type away here in the middle of the night, Ed. I need your attention quickly. Or contact me through Patreon. Become a member of Patreon, and I'll treat you with respect. How's that? $3 a month, 10 cents a day, and you get my attention. Welcome to the show. If you like our show, speaking of Patreon, I was speaking of it, you go to Patreon, Opperman Report Patreon, and you sign up there, $3 a month, 10 cents a day. Plenty of exclusive content I put up there for free this week. Maybe I should stop putting up stuff for free. How's that? Two can play this game. I put up the Maria Farmer lawsuit. Finally, she sued the FBI. I had put up the complaint against the FBI a couple of years ago, which is just like an internal complaint you have to put with the FBI before you can sue them. And I was very involved in that, but me and Maria were no longer speaking. Had a falling out, as they say in the radio game, or in the Epstein game. Had our little, went our separate ways. And what do you call it? Which is a whole other story, I'll tell you one day. Maybe I'll just tell it to the Patreon people. But anyway, her lawsuit there against them, and she seems to have parted ways with Sarah Ransom, too, as well, who was a co-plaintiff or co-complainant in the complaint against the FBI, and doesn't appear now to be suing FBI herself. I don't know, I'll have to deeper, as they say, take a deep dive into that. But a deep dive means Googling, Normally it would, pick up the phone, call them up, but no, I'm going to take a deep dive and Google it. Anyway, so she seems to be dropped out of the lawsuit there. And they seem to have a rift between the two of them, too, as well. A little behind-the-scenes gossip of Epstein gossip. Ooh. So that's it. Oh, I also found the Ivana Trump FBI files. Pretty interesting. A lot of redacted stuff. A lot of it goes way back to the 90s. But that's up there, too, in the free section over on Patreon. Plus, I haven't taped this. We got the old classic shows up there. Haven't had a chance to tape much stuff. I got two great shows for you tonight. One is about DC Madam. DC Madam Insider. This is the one that Palfrey. I always forget her first name. What is it? Virginia Jean Palfrey? Deborah Jean Palfrey, the DC Madam. I spoke to her paralegal, who's in possession of all her phone records, okay, that we're trying to get a hold of. He's a nice guy. Maybe we'll turn him over. And he had some interesting stuff to say about this limousine company that seems to be was being used in the war on terror. And they were doing renditions. They were kidnapping people using the limo company that Deborah Jean Palfrey was involved in with her escort service. First I've heard of that. Interesting stuff. We got the guy firsthand. Real good. Find another interview this guy's done. I dare you. Double dare you to find an interview with this fellow here that I found. Then we have, this woman, Criminal Justice Chris. She goes by and she's in contact with David Berkowitz. And we have some interview with her and some behind-the-scenes stuff with David Berkowitz. I have his contact information, too. Maybe I'll be sending him a little note or a letter there. See if we can get him as a guest on the show. How would that be? Let's see if we can pull Mr. Berkowitz on the show. 9 minutes in, I've got nothing accomplished. It's been a very extremely hectic week, especially just now trying to get the audio back up. But we finally got the studio up and running again. I'm taping interviews. We taped 2. I got one tomorrow. I got Sunday, and I got Monday. We are taping about the Oklahoma City bombing. We're taping about the Pope of Pot, and we're taping about some true crime story there. But I think it's about a prison break or something like that. A little update on the legacy of Mr. Ted Rubenstein. It turns out now that his library and his book collection are in the hands of somebody. So no longer we have an opportunity to, get it with a college or an actual library, create a library that I was hoping we could do. but I can only do so much. I only have two hands. I have my own life. I can barely stay on top of what I'm doing myself, my own stuff here. I have no help here at all, you know. Although, and I can't say that. I did hire an assistant who comes in a couple of days a week and help me out. But there's just so much going on, it's hard to keep up with. Plus, this week, my Facebook and Instagram got shut down for no reason whatsoever. The Opperman Report Facebook is still shut down. Now, hopefully, that'll be recovered too as well. There's absolutely no explanation for this other than that. What I can tell you, I'll tell you what's going on behind the scenes. I did some reporting about James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, and that he was offered an intelligence gig by the country of Qatar, and how Pam Bondi also was getting paid by Qatar, and then suddenly he's doing this behind-the-scenes ambush secret video of Pam Bondi. All this kind of weird stuff, and he's talking about Epstein all of a sudden. And then I was talking about some stuff with Keith Schiller, Trump's head of security. And I discovered good old James O'Keefe has me blocked on Instagram. And then I discover that some people are trying to hack into my Instagram. I'm getting those lame attempts, to hack into your Instagram. Not that you'll find anything interesting on my Instagram. Trust me, I'm not one of these guys sliding into DMs trying to hook up with people. That's just not what I'm doing. I can barely keep up with what I'm doing as I am doing. But what do you call it? So then there's that. Then I found out that Roger Stone suddenly blocked me on Twitter. So clearly I'm on the radar of these folks. Then I got some messages, too, from a guy who I know has killed some people, who's tried to lure me out in the past. So I'm dealing with this, all this stuff going on here, okay? And then what happens yesterday, my car is broken into, and it was just rifled through. Nothing was stolen. There are items of value in there that even the junkiest junkie could have picked up and just returned to the store. It's still in the box. Brand new stuff in the box, man, like a brand new first aid kit. There's a brand new survival kit. There's a brand new roadside assistance equipment. There's brand new stuff, man. We're looking at some weapons in the car, too, A lot of stuff in there, man, that could have been snatched up and sold immediately. Even an air mattress is still in a box. All this could have been picked up and taken away and sold. But now it's just rifled through, to give me and the car auto locks, too. The alarm never went off, so who the hell knows what's going on there. It's just another day in the life when you're dealing with all this kind of stuff. I'm sticking my neck out here for nothing, for no reward, for no support, no nothing, It'd be nice if I had a little support, guys. All the stuff I'm talking about is headline news. You get it here years in advance. You can go to OppermanReport.com, send me $20. You become a member at Patreon. You get first access to brand new content. We were chatting up there. Everybody knew about, where's Ed? Where's Ed? Everybody on Patreon knew where I was. I give them updates. I'm able to do that even when I'm taken down. How would you stay in touch with the show if I was taken off of Facebook, if I was taken off of Twitter? And I was taken off of Instagram. Because the people I confront and the people I'm dealing with can pick up the phone and call Zuckerberg and get me removed from these places. So this is the level of stuff we're dealing with here, guys. I need your support. Ed nags. Ed's always begging for money. I'm not begging for shit. I need help. Okay? Either help or don't help. Get the hell off my phone. Get the hell off the air. Hang up. Don't listen. hit pause. You're not allowed. Get off my air. Like Bob Grant, what was that? In New York City, man. It wasn't WABC. Well, it was WABC for a while there. Good old Bob Grant. Get off my air. And I used to love that, man. And here I am. Look at me. Screaming people to get off the air. Had a tragic, as last week we were mourning the death of Ted Rubenstein, and this week we had the death of Bernie Kerik. We don't actually mourn it. We kind of dance on this fellow's grave. This piece of garbage. Bernie Kerik, Bernard Kerik, who paid $50,000 for the January 6th war hotel room, the war room, over there in D.C., trying to overthrow the U.S. government, this convicted felon. This guy who's been crap his whole life, man, garbage, who, when he was Department of Corrections, I'd say some behind-the-scenes stuff, the gossip, New York City gossip, in the circles I used to run with. This guy stole furniture and art when he worked at the Department of Corrections. When he left that department, he stole. Just took artwork, took furniture, just stole it. He was later convicted for stealing stuff from 9/11 victims in an apartment that was donated for the use of 9/11 first responders. He converted to his own use as thief. Okay, and then it turns out, too, I found out more recently that this guy, on September 11th, when you see there that scene where Giuliani says, hey, let's go over to the command center over there in Building 7, and Bernard Kerik whispers in his ear and says, no, let's not go there. Let's go to this other place. And they turn around and they go to the other place. So live on TV. Turns out that day, Bernie Kerik had been deported. The reason why he was NYPD police commissioner on that day, because he was deported from Saudi Arabia because he was blackmailing people over there. He had a security gig over there for the Department of Health in Saudi Arabia. How do you get that? I'd like to know. And he gets deported from there for blackmailing people, using people's private information and stealing their info and blackmailing them. So let's make him police commissioner in New York City, good old Rudy Giuliani. By the way, I got some word came back through the pipeline to me that Rudy Giuliani's pissed off at me. I'll tell you that story right after I finish on Kerik. But also on that day, Mr. Bernie Kerik, his best friend was a fellow named Lawrence Ray, who was the Sarah Lawrence pimp. Remember that guy who went in to live in the Sarah Lawrence dorm room of his daughter and started pimping out her roommates? That guy, that meth head, that speed freak with intelligence ties. And he was an FBI informant at one point, and here he is pimping out his daughter's friends for $8,000 a day with some piece of garbage website. He had to be doing this, selling these kids to people he knew, high-profile friends of his, rich, influential friends of his that had money. He was also involved in a scandal, too, there to wiretap Jeanine Pirro, who became a federal prosecutor, a federal judge this week, to wiretap her husband's boat to catch him cheating on her. It's a whole nother story. That guy was pardoned by Trump. One scandal after another with this crew. And we're not even talking about the stuff with Musk and Trump yet. We're going to get to that in a minute, of course. By the way, too, Larry Ray, too, they actually raided A.J. Weberman's house looking for Larry Ray. That's how I got Larry Ray's phone number, through A.J. Weberman. I spent a couple hours on the phone with Larry Ray, the Sarah Lawrence pimp, who, by the way, and it was him who got Bernie Kerik convicted on these charges, and he makes a very convincing case that all his charges against him being a pimp and stuff like that, he was set up. I don't believe it, but he makes a good case. I have a way of listening to criminal defendants and kind of weeding through the garbage that these guys put you through. Now, what was I going to say that I forgot about? I said I was going to get back to, my contact with Rudy Giuliani this week. I've been talking to a lot of reporters lately about Virginia Giuffre and stuff like that, and it's kind of weird, too. I got to tell you something. When I talk to these reporters now, and I say, well, how did I meet you? How did you get this number? How do I know you? Who introduced you to me that gave you my number? And it's very interesting to see the patterns of who these people I'm talking to and how they contact me and pump me for information. And sometimes either exaggerate my quotes or, edit my quotes, or don't quote me at all. They use my information, don't quote me even a bit. But some stuff came back this week, and I told them about how Rudy Giuliani worked for Tower Financial, was the corporate counsel for Jeffrey Epstein over at Stephen Hoffenberg's company. And so the guy went and confirmed it with Giuliani, and Giuliani denied it, so I sent him the tapes. And the guy comes back. No, the guy came back and says, "Yeah, Rudy Giuliani denies it." And I said, "Well, here's the tapes." I gave him like 7 hours of tapes. I said, "It's in there someplace." And he said it a few times over the 12 interviews I've done with Hoffenberg. So look for it in there. And he gets back to and I said, and by the way, see if Rudy Giuliani remembers me, because he has me blocked too. By the way, okay. Yeah, it's like, oh man, yeah. Hey. Whatever, But what do you call it? He has me blocked too. So I went back to my sister, asked Rudy if he remembers me from the Doral line, if he remembers me from those old cases back in SDNY, and I mentioned a couple of cases. And when later on I was talking to the guy, he goes, "Oh yeah, Ed, he remembers you, and he's pissed." So Rudy's still pissed off at me. Which reminds me too, last night we had a little impromptu conversation roundtable with Mike Parziale, MJVictims.com. Mike Parziale, I love the guy, but I got to tell you something, man. This kid, he's too damn nice. We got to toughen this kid up. He is just too damn nice. He's giving a pass to Elon Musk, telling me that Musk is Asperger's and whatever, you know. Oh, and he has a good heart. He was trying to end corruption, and he was trying to bring us free speech. I tell you, man. Anybody else would say that, I'd hang up in their face. But Mike Parziale, I love him, and I'll put up with him. Okay, let's see what else. Let's check the time first and see how we're doing here. So I'm talking fast, trying to squeeze in a lot of material. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of attention and annoyance because there's a beef between Elon Musk and Mr. Trump. And supposedly it's over the big, beautiful bill. This crazy spending bill, which is going to cut out all the money from Medicare and Medicaid and food stamps and starving people and sick people. And, you know, who cares, right? Let them all die. And Musk is pissed off about this bill. Publicly, the theory is that the reason Musk is turning on Trump is because he's pissed off about this bill. Okay? But I think it's about Russia. Musk is deep in with Putin. Okay? Putin's mouthpiece on Twitter, I don't have his name in front of me at the moment, but he made a statement the other day about how, and he called President Donald Trump former President Trump. It seems that this traces back to the situation where Ukraine pulled off that really incredible attack on the Russian fighter planes, and their fighter planes that were sitting on the ground there, and they got into Russia through these tiny homes or cabins or something that were imported into Russia. Then the roofs came off, and they had drones fly out of these roofs of these cabins and go in there and attack this airport. In my opinion, I'm no military expert by any means, but I get around and I do talk to people. And it's my understanding that there's no way the Ukrainians could pull this off by themselves. And it seems like Trump was taken by surprise. So maybe Trump's losing control of some of the armed forces or the intelligence community. But because I don't even think that NATO has the capabilities to pull off an attack like that, from what I understand. So where are we now? Clearly, Putin was totally pissed off about that. Trump called him up and apologized to him. Okay? Which is so, bizarre. And Musk is siding with Putin. So it appears to me that that's more of the issue of the rift between Musk and Trump rather than this budget thing. Okay? Now, that's just my theory. It's an educated theory. I don't have any first-hand knowledge, but it's what people I trust and people I know that I've developed this theory on my own. So it's no better than anybody else's theory. And when I have a theory that's no better than anybody else's theory, I'll tell you. When I have inside information, I'll tell you. This is something I know. This is something I've worked on myself. So in this case, it's a theory I have that the reason for this fallout is Russia. Okay? It's Russia-related. It's the Ukraine battle-related. Okay? And it's the kind of... how did this attack was pulled off, without overt assistance of the U.S. military and the U.S. intelligence community, U.S. assets. So that's my theory on that. Okay, so, and it's been apparent to me that you heard me predict this recently in the past, that Putin, his ace in the hole was pulling out Epstein on Trump. And we see that with this fellow here, this fertilizer guy, Dmitry. Let me see if I can pull up his name. Dmitry. It'll be right here. I can find it from this one. Dmitry. I looked up his name. I can't even pronounce it. Rybolovlev. Okay, who's this guy, Dmitry Raboloviv, is a fertilizer guy. He's a fertilizer oligarch. And then his other claim to fame is that he gets ripped off investing in art, and he's all complaining about that on the world stage because he's retired from fertilizer. And he was the guy that was at the center of that real estate deal that involved that bankruptcy. It was kind of shady deal where they paid like $50 million over the value of the property. And Epstein wanted a part of that deal, and Trump wanted a part of that deal, and Dmitry was at the center of that deal. And when Russia was negotiating with Mr. Tiny Hands Rubio and over there in Saudi Arabia, who did they pop in the negotiation room there at least? He was sitting way back away from the table, but he was in the room, Dmitry Raboloviv. Okay, why would this fertilizer guy there, has no experience in negotiations, has nothing to do with Ukraine, he's the guy's fertilizer and art. What's he doing there? Other than, it's like that scene in The Godfather where Frankie Pantangelo, at the Senate hearing, where they bring his brother in, and it's a signal to the opposing team there that, hey, man, we got your guy here. We got Dmitry Raboloviv, and he knows all the inside dirt about you and Mr. Epstein, Mr. Trump, and we're willing to use this against you. And I've been talking about this for a while. Okay, I'm not stupid. Maybe I am stupid. Okay, maybe I'm stupid for sticking my neck out here week after week after week for no reward whatsoever, getting my car broke into, getting my Facebook shut down, and having to fight and claw my way out of it from week to week. And hearing nothing but complaints. And then meanwhile, here I am months and years ahead of everybody else. But anyway, so it seems to me that then this was Mr. Musk's shot across the bow, pointing out when he points that tweet saying, hey, Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's not why they're being released. And then he did another tweet. He retweeted himself where he says, screenshot this for the future. This is going to happen. It's going to turn out to be true. Okay? Now, which is a doubling down, which you don't do unless you're convinced. Okay, you might make a comment, after a little too much ketamine or whatever this guy's doing. And by the way, too, Trump has not denied this in the least. He's not even made a hint of a denial. Most of MAGA made no denial. Or they're whining, oh, I hope they make up. Oh, I hope. Well, what about these allegations? These are pretty serious allegations. This is a guy who's in the know. He's in the mix. They were the bromance. He was practically the vice president or co-president, working together every day. They go, oh, what now? He's making it up, or what he doesn't know? Or the most ridiculous things. Oh, look, here's little X getting on the helicopter with Mr. Trump. Would Elon Musk allow that if Mr. Trump was a pedophile? Of course not. Trump gave his own daughter, 13 years old, to John Casablanca's modeling agency. He gave his little boys to Michael Jackson to go play alone in a room with Michael Jackson. Okay? Give me a break here, man. All right? Now, one of the things you're going to hear over and 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 over again is this tired old bullshit comment. Well, Mr. Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after he caught him hitting on a teen there. They have no connection. Mr. Trump was outraged by Mr. Epstein, and he banned him from Mar-a-Lago. Mr. Epstein, let's look at the facts. Mr. Epstein was banned a couple of weeks before he was going to prison. He had already pled guilty. He was going to prison. That's when he was banned. Now, where do we get this story that Mr. Epstein was banned from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on a teenager at Mar-a-Lago? We get this from a guy named James Patterson, who's a writer, a very, very, very rich Palm Beach writer, author of books. He's the one that came up with this story. No one's ever questioned him on this. No one's ever interrogated on this. He's never been in a deposition. He's never been on a witness stand. But this guy's the authority on this, man. This guy is Moses. Okay? And this is his 10 commandments. He went to the top of the mountain, and God himself used his finger to write in his tablet there, okay? And he walked back down, and you could see the fire marks on his face, Mr. Patterson. And God wrote, Mr. Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on a teen in Mar-a-Lago. Go forth, my son, and do not sin. Okay? That's what we're supposed to believe. That Patterson is the almighty Oz, the authority on this. Never been questioned, never said this under oath, nothing. Let's start with that. It's the word of a guy who's friends with Trump, who's friends with Epstein, who's friends with Maxwell, who's a member at Mar-a-Lago, who's also friends with Bill Clinton and wrote a book with Bill Clinton too as well. By the way, he also says Bill Clinton is innocent. He says Trump is innocent, and he says Bill Clinton is innocent too. So you can't have it both ways, Mr. and Mrs. MAGA. If you're saying this guy's the authority that clears Epstein, he's also the authority that clears Clinton. Okay? I happen to agree. I don't think Clinton was diddling kids, man. I don't think he has it in him. I don't think he had the potence. I think his impotence situation with Clinton. And I don't think Clinton was ever this heavily sexed Lothario character. They portrayed him to be that the Kavanaugh and Starr and Ann Coulter and Conway came up with. Okay, they came up with that, man, and he just ran with it because Clinton just liked he thought it was cool. To be portrayed in this way as a heavily sex drive guy there. Okay, but Patterson. Okay, back to Patterson. Let's get this distracted. Okay. I'm not out of breath because of my heart medication. I'm out of breath because of my passion on this topic. So what do you call it? Where are we now? Patterson. Patterson claims is this unnamed teenager whose family were a member at Mar-a-Lago. This unnamed family. Now, by now, you'd think this teenager would be an adult. This teenager would have friends or relatives who would know this story, who would come out and say, oh, yeah, I can verify this story. Nowhere. It's a ghost. It's like Kaiser Sose. Maybe Epstein was hitting on Kaiser Sose. Okay, that's possible. Okay, because after all, that was, what's his name there? That guy, that other guy. You know what I'm talking about. I interviewed his brother, Kevin Spacey. Okay. Maybe it was Kevin Spacey as the team. But the thing is, man, we don't know who this alleged teen is. We don't know who the family is. The teen hasn't come forward. The teen would be an adult now. They could make a career off of this. Who knows what this teen is doing now? The family could come forward, a relative, a cousin. Somebody would know this story and come forward at this point. It's a ghost. It's a ghost from a guy who also says Clinton is innocent. It's a ghost from a guy who's just as rich as all these other characters and friends with all of them. Okay? Don't repeat that story to me in my face. I'll smack you. Okay, I've had it. I can only take so much. Okay? All right. Well, what else is with that story? He also says Clinton is innocent. Let's see. Otherwise, that's it. I mean, that's for and the story too. There's two theories of why Epstein and Trump had their falling out. One was this business deal with this Dimitri fellow I was telling you about before. I can't pronounce the fertilizer guy. One theory is that business deal that fell apart. Okay, but the timing doesn't fit for that because he wasn't banned from Mar-a-Lago until after that. Or we can believe Epstein, and we can believe Michael Wolff, who is the author of Fire and Fury, who was friends with Epstein, friends with Bannon, friends with Trump. He was embedded in the Trump White House, wrote a book about the Trump White House. We could believe the people involved and what they said. Wolff and Epstein both say the reason was it was a moral reason. By the way, too, Epstein said this story to a bunch of comedians, too. There used to be an article, you could find it in the online. It's been scrubbed from the internet, but it's in my memory. You can't scrub my memory. unless you're the Men in Black and you show up with that little pen, which I would welcome at this point, you know. He's probably out of my misery. What do you call it? What do they say is the reason for the falling out between Trump and Epstein? Okay. It wasn't this criminal stuff because the investigation started in 2004. Okay. So Trump would have gotten wind of that because, you know, the girl that worked at his, in Mar-a-Lago, Virginia Giuffre, worked there. Okay. Virginia Roberts at the time. She worked there. Her father worked there. He had to have gotten wind of this. If he had a beef, a concern over children, he would have kicked Epstein out back in 2004. Now, the grand jury, and Letty says, maybe Trump said, hey, it's her word against his. Let's wait for the grand jury. The grand jury came back with an indictment in 2006. Epstein was there till 2008. I don't think Maxwell ever got kicked out. So give me a break with that whole story. It's bullshit. And it's stupid bullshit. If you read the 2006 grand jury transcripts, right, the detective is testifying. I have it up on my Patreon for free. You can go there and find it, okay? The detective is testifying on the stand. The prosecutor's in the bag for Epstein and his team there. She's trying to throw the case. And the detective, though, he's trying the best as he can to get this indictment. And he says there was no one at Royal Palms High School that was not aware of Jeffrey Epstein and what this guy was doing. There was no one that was not aware. If you read the transcripts again, one of the first young ladies, and she's talking about... well, she was going to go there the next day, but she needed a ride, and she talked to her cousin at the trailer park, and he came by, and he and his friend, they were trying to talk her out of it because everyone, all these teen kids at the trailer parks knew about Jeffrey Epstein, this old sugar daddy. You know, by the way, too, I'm going to do a whole show about that when I get time, about the 2006 grand jury transcripts, because... I've heard those stories, you know, about what took place behind the scenes in that investigation and stuff. I've heard those stories over and over and over again since 2013, or even 2011 or 12 when I first started hearing about Epstein. But what do you call it? I had heard about the whole thing about how she went to see Epstein. She went to school the next day. She had $300 on her. And then she got caught in school. She got into a fist fight with another girl who was calling her a slut and a hoe for going with Epstein. And when she went to the principal's office, they found $300 cash on her. Now, I had no idea this was the next day after the first time she ever met Epstein. I had thought she had seen him several times, and this was like months later or something. But when you read the grand jury transcripts, you find out that it was this poor kid went there once. And her whole life was turned upside down, okay? Like so many of these poor kids, you know? And for all these MAGA types out there, who their only concern is, oh no, if only Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk can make up and be friends again. It's important for the Republicans. It's important for the midterm elections in 2026. You know, it's for the party and MAGA and America First and the tax cuts and killing people with Medicare cuts. Pull your heads out of your asses, man, and think of these poor kids that went through this hell. There's no way Trump was not aware of all this going on in Palm Beach, when every kid at the trailer park knew, when everybody at the school knew, when it was going on right under his nose at Mar-a-Lago. There's a lot of information, too, about how Ivana Trump was really close friends with Maxwell, okay, and they were out around, some even claim recruiting together. This comes from like Maria Farmer and Annie Farmer come back with that stuff. Okay, so there's that. All right, guys. Trump, by the way, too, still to this point, has not denied this. Hasn't made a denial. Here you got a guy accusing you of being a pedophile with Jeffrey Epstein, And you say, oh, well, Musk is upset about the bill. The bill is good. What about the allegations? What about these accusations? No, and now it's coming out today. They're starting to do the PR on this correctly. I think Trump still hasn't come out and denied it, but at least his MAGA team are out there. His talking point people out there are now saying, well, Trump's innocent of this. It can't be because of Patterson's book. You know what I mean? No, Moses' book there, you know, the Ten Commandments. You know, give me a break, man. Give me a break. You know? Like, let's not lose sight of this. This whole thing with Epstein is not a joke, man. These were real victims, man. They were victimized. And first they were victimized, you know, in person by this creep and his friends. Not on an island, by the way. All the stuff I'm talking about happened in Palm Beach. Everything I'm telling you about today happened in Palm Beach. Forget the planes. Forget the islands, man. You know? Forget all that. Hey, this is enough. Just the fact that the 3 little girls a day from Royal Palms High School were going over there every day to have their lives turned upside down. And, you know, I went down there myself in person. I talked to some of these women, you know, later on. We tried to verify their stories. Some we could, some we could not. And some of them even, I couldn't vet their stories. Maybe could have. It's still been victimized and damaged from traumatized from all this. You know, we just didn't have enough to put together a case, man, you know. Hey, so, you know, do the best you can on these things. So anyway, that's where we are on all this. As far as Musk, I think it's Russia's behind it. I think it's interesting that Trump has not denied it. I think that Musk was put up to bring this up by Putin and that end of things. Otherwise, what this could be is that there is some stuff about to come out. By the way, too, just this week, Wolf came out and said he has tapes of Epstein claiming that he has videos of Trump. And Maxwell, too, claimed that Epstein had videos of Trump. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff coming out this week. So the other alternative, what could be going on here, is this is like an inoculation, which Trump is good at. He does this, okay? When he knows bad information is going to come out, he's putting it out first, okay? And then what's going to happen is now Musk is going to come back later on and says, you know what? I was just upset. I don't have any information about Trump. It was all a big me on my ketamine. Okay? Me and my ketamine. Okay? And then that washes any future dirt that comes out in these files, or if the files never come out, or if Putin comes out with something now. We've gotten this inoculation, this vaccine that prevents us from biting into that, because we've got this other one here we bit into first that now has been withdrawn by, speculatively, could be withdrawn by Musk. So those are my theories on the topic there, plus my stuff. You know, I've spent a lot of years working on the dates of this Mar-a-Lago stuff and James Patterson. But everyone tells a story. No one ever mentions James Patterson. See, only at Opperman. I'm the only one. What did 43 minutes of my life here? Let's see what we're doing here. Check the old notes and see what's in there. Notes, matey. Oh, boy, almost forgot this, man. But we got this Palantir. Trump makes a deal with Palantir to make this one big, beautiful, unified database on all American citizens, including our medical, financial, credit, addresses, names and addresses, social security numbers, all that stuff will be in there. They could even throw in there into this database who our friends are. They have my PI databases that I have access to. Okay, you can get common residence, okay, where 2 people lived at the same residence, okay? Now, here's how you get that information. Here's what we have now. First, you got NCIC. You get arrested, right? And the cop types in your information as you're getting arrested. 25% of that information is incorrect. They type it in the wrong stuff, okay? It gets corrected down the line as things move along. So you have that. Warrants are in there, things like that. Criminal records are in there. Okay, but there's a lot of errors in that database. Okay, and it's not a worldwide instant database either. Okay, you can get arrested in a certain county and have a warrant. But they don't want to spend the money to have you extradited back to their county, so they don't even enter that into NCIC. There are civilian versions of NCIC. I'm getting a little too in the weeds, in the inside baseball for you here. But there are PI databases available of wants and warrants that include wants and warrants that are not in the NCIC, which is the National Crime whatever computer database. Okay. So, so when you hear people talking about, well, I went through a federal FBI background check, believe it or not, man, they don't have that data that they have, NCIC and that kind of stuff. It's not the greatest stuff in the world. They also have access to the civilian, PI, bill collector, bail bondsman databases that you have to purchase and civilian use. Authorized civilian use. There's all kinds of qualifications you need, licensing and all kind of stuff to get access to those databases, on-site inspections, that you're audited. If you start looking up Britney Spears and stuff like that, it'll click a trigger and you'll be audited. And so there's all kind of stuff that goes with this, okay? And there's penalties if you screw around, you fool around with it too. If I go looking up somebody's information, their social security number and their employment and stuff like that, and I don't have a legit reason, and I get ordered, I can go to get convicted for that. You can go to jail for that. Okay, now there's that, and then you got credit reporting. Okay, and credit reporting is, by the way, how they come up with that data in those civilian databases is through credit headers. Voter registration, DMV information, some is for sale, some is not. In some states it is, some states it is. In Florida it is, California it's not. You can look up driver's licenses and license plates and the VIN numbers and things like that. But there's other ways to get that too, through Carfax and things like that. There's ways. There's little dribs and drabs. You can go to different places and get this information to accomplish what you need to accomplish. If you have a mortgage on your home, property records, databases, all kind of stuff like that too, you can find. But sometimes you might have to go through multiple listings. There's things you have to do. You have to have contacts in different fields of expertise and employment and careers in order to, and you have these sources all lined up in your Rolodex. Okay, then you have credit reports. Now, when you fill out a credit application, that information you put down, your name, your address, your phone number, your social security number, your date of birth, and your address, your previous addresses, your work location, all that stuff, that's called a credit header. That information is for sale. They can sell to PIs and bill collectors and bail bonds and all kind of stuff. They can sell that information, okay, if you have a legitimate purpose for it. It's called a credit header. But I can go out today and fill out credit applications saying I live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. My occupation is President of the United States. My date of birth is 1492. And when you search me on the internet at Opperman, where does he live? That's what's going to come back to you. You're going to get that information. It's going to be in there commingled with real information, but then you can fudge that up. You can fake that information. We find out, too, that through the Falcon and the Snowman, as a matter of fact, when you look up the Falcon and the Snowman on Wikipedia, you'll find out that the reason why they were convicted of espionage is because they were working for TransUnion, or they were working for one of the three major credit reporting bureaus, okay? And it turns, but they had access to top secret satellite information, because it turns out that, guess what? The three major credit reporting agencies are intelligence. They're connected up with the CIA. Did you know that? Okay. It's very hard to find that, but it slipped through if you go to Wikipedia and look up the Falcon and the Snowman information. That's how I found it and found out about it. So we do have this data all over the place, but it's not in one place. And if I go in my database, I can find, and I'm looking up a person, and I want to find out who their friends are, their ex-wife, their girlfriend, this kind of stuff like that. It's really not there. If a guy and his brother and his girlfriend, if they all lived at one place, or a roommate all lived at the same address at one time, and they filled out credit applications for cars or for that apartment or for credit cards, and they put that same address during the same time periods, that will show up as something called common residence search. This is someone you might want to look into. They could have a relationship with the person you're investigating. But with this new Palantir database, well, they'll have access to Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff, and they're going to see Facebook has relationship status on it, don't it? It says, I'm in a relationship with so-and-so, doesn't it? Okay, now that's gold. That information is gold. You know what is even better than that gold? Who you're in relationship with? Who did you block? Who were you formerly in a relationship with? Who are you enemies with? Because if I want to investigate you, I want to talk to your enemies. So now that's all going to be available in this new Palantir database that's not available anywhere else, plus medical records, plus bank records. All that stuff's going to be in one damn place. We've never had that before. It's a gold mine for investigators or authoritarians or fascist dictators. It's a gold mine. But for you and me, to be used against us, it's not. And they're constantly passing laws and restrictions against PIs to have access to this kind of information. So I don't hold my breath that I will legally be able to get access to that. Of course, there are people who can get it, and I know those kind of people. So we will be able to get it to kind of fight my way back as good as I can. But that's going to be a super duper killer tool used against us. And what you want to consider too is Mr. Elon Musk, who by the way is friends with Peter Thiel from Palatine, and so is J.D. Vance. They're all on the same team. That's the PayPal Mafia. Go back and listen to the shows we did with Barrett Brown. He'll explain all that to you better than I ever could. But what do you call it? When Trump bought Twitter, he went in there with a company called Oracle. And Oracle's business is creating databases, data mining on you and me, capturing information about us to sell us stuff. And that same kind of information, like when you're thinking about buying something or you did a search about buying something, or now we even know when you talk about buying it, I mean, those ads come up. The same way they can put those ads up to sell us stuff, they can manipulate the information to manipulate us. They can create unique stuff for us to manipulate us and to guide us and control us, okay? I'll give you an example. I have a special Netflix account that was provided to me by Netflix. It's a preview account where I have an extra channel. I'll take a picture of it and I'll show it to you. That I can log in, and when it says, when you log into your Netflix and you see coming soon, and you click on it, you get a preview. When I click on that, I see it. I get it before it's available to you. So they have the technology. They have the ability. Also, too, I know that in Vegas, back in the old days, I don't know about now, but in the hotel rooms, they got a different version of the news in the hotel rooms for the tourists. The tourists got different news, local news, than went to my house, okay? So that is possible with cable TV. They can send you one version of the news. They can send me another version of the news if they want to put that effort in. And it's available, like I just said, on my Netflix. I have a different version of my Netflix than you have on your Netflix. This is what we're up against, guys. This is how serious things are. The kind of manipulation and control that they have over our information. And this is why I want to strangle you when I'm trying to tell you something I know firsthand from my own personal life, from dealing with the people involved. And you want to argue back to me about something you Googled, okay? This is why I want to choke you when you say that to me. I want to choke you anyway. All right, guys, we're out of time. I got two good shows coming up for you tonight. One is about the son of Sam. Another one is about the Deborah Jean Palfrey. Finally said it right, the D.C. madam. Both behind-the-scenes exclusive stuff you only get here at the Opperman Report. I got some really good stuff I'm taping this weekend, too. OKC bombing. This guy who's a really... The guy's into all our stuff. He's a new guest. We've never talked to him before. He seems really cool. He hung out with Hunter S. Thompson. He hung out with Mickey Cesar, the Pope of Pot, with the people around John Holmes, you know, the Johnny Wad, the porn star. 4 on the Floor Murders. He sent me a documentary, you know, about that. And I get access to such cool stuff, man. It just blows my mind. You know, I just... by the way, too, if anybody's out there who's a good guy like day trading... in the stock market and stuff like that. I have access to information. Okay, now listen, don't call the SEC. It's not insider information, but it's advanced information. I have access to advanced information before the general public does. Okay, it's all perfectly legal. Okay, but I think we could do some really good advanced betting on the stock market in puts and calls. Okay, so give me a call if you know how to do that stuff. Okay, and we'll work out a deal. Okay, or maybe I'll just put out a newsletter. You can subscribe to my newsletter, and I'll tip you off. But I get information way before other people get it on certain topics. So get a hold of me on that, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get rich together, okay? Trust me, this podcasting ain't getting me rich, that's for sure. Otherwise, 2 great shows tonight. Taping 3 great shows so far this week, and that's just barely scratching the surface, man, because I got a bunch of people lined up. A Michael Jackson insider, another guy with the October surprise that I've been putting off. So we're back. I'm back on Facebook. I'm back on Instagram. I got an assistant helping me out a couple of days a week. I'm talking to another one maybe about moving in. So we're pulling it together here, guys, and we're doing the best we can, okay? And my health is back. As you can tell, I'll take my heart meds right now after the show. The studio is up and running. So overall, I feel pretty good right now. I just came back from my friend Kara. She gave me a nice massage of my head and my shoulders and my neck and stuff like that. I felt so good. And what I did was I felt so good with her positive energy and leaving her. As soon as I got to the car, I emailed another friend of mine. I forgave her about something we were fighting about, and now we're talking again. It feels just so good to get all that off my chest. Forgiveness is so important, man. It just opens up all the blessings in your life. So I can't recommend you to enough to if you're holding a grudge against somebody, if you're angry at somebody, forgive them. I forgive everyone except the people who Google things, and the people who bring up that Patterson quote about the Mar-a-Lago and everything. Everyone else, we're good, but not you. All right, guys, good night. I love you so much.